LA,
Yeah,
that's something they do a good job with.
I bet.
Is every set has really good food options. That is
Hmm.
something that I've been like, oh, the big difference between Texas sets and Los Angeles sets is that you got like a million different dietary constraints in Los Angeles. There's going to be a vegan, somebody's going to be a pescatarian,
Yeah.
somebody's going to be gluten-free, whatever free stuff. The options are always very healthy.
We are the
Get Reelisms Podcast.
I am Adam Chase Ray.
And I am Christine Chen, as prized by both filmmakers.
We get into it by sharing secrets, advice, gossip, and film.
And we even get our other filmmaking friends to share theirs too.
So please, everybody, join us for
And hello to the film band.
Well, welcome everybody. We are here. Welcome to another episode of the Get Reelisms Podcast, episode 156. 156. I am Adam Chase Rennie.
And I am Christine Chen.
Wow. We did it. And you can tell by the craziness of my hair how my morning has been. And how's everything in your neck of the woods, Christine?
Things seem to be settling in terms of starting to get calls. So
Yeah, you're working
October should
all
be
of
busy.
October, right?
Yeah, the weekends at least. And then I think I'll have some stuff in November. So this is good. When you're starting to get calls, this is good versus like crickets. So I have high hopes and I am trying to stay positive about
Optimistic.
everything. There's no other excuse. There's no strikes. There's no other excuse. Things should come back now. People need their entertainment. Yeah. So.
Yeah, I bet it. I don't know how else to understand it other than that productions are just finally getting back into the swing of things. So they're all trying to make sure that they have a fluid carousel of, I hate saying content, but it's basically how these people treat it most of the time.
How about you? How's Austin? I know that things are good in Austin because my walkie company Over and Out is popping. We keep having to turn down stuff because when it rains and pours in Austin, it's nobody wants to shoot anything, then everybody wants to shoot everything at the exact same time, date wise, 100% all the time. And we're like, my business partner Carl and I are like trying to figure out like how do I send the walkies that are here in LA over, which is a pain. So it's just been like a lot of jigsawing and whatnot. So
Yeah, I myself haven't worked a ton. It's been very few here and there. Like the last gig I had was 2 weeks ago. And the one before that was a month and a half. Before that, it comes and goes for me.
yes, yeah, that seems to be just everybody. Yeah, I finally had a gig. I think it was last week on Tuesday, and that was a Christian show. That was cool. Everybody was very nice on it, and then I location scouted for something that is going to be shooting in October. So I'm excited about that. We were on an aircraft carrier in San Diego.
Oh
So,
yeah, right on.
yeah, super cool. The location is super cool. The whole time I'm going through, I'm like, there's a million places for people to get lost because this boat is like a freaking maze.
Have you ever been on a
And-
aircraft carrier?
I've been to this particular one before because I visited it when I was there for Comic-Con. I think I popped over to do touristy
Oh,
shows. So yeah.
then we probably went on the same carrier. This was when I was
Yeah.
in high school. I can't remember what it was.
It's a
It was
museum. Yes, so it's not a non-functioning one, but yeah, it's a museum, apparently.
there's
So,
even
yes,
weddings
it's
too
good.
that people have. I don't know
Yeah.
why you would have a wedding on a aircraft carrier.
I guess
but,
if like
you know.
if your background is military and like that you had worked on that or something, like maybe you want to get married on an aircraft carrier.
Sure.
I don't
mean,
know. Their own.
But you're shooting
Sharon
on
had
that.
a Whataburger.
Huh? What'd you
Oh
say?
yes, I said my friend Sharon had a Whataburger themed wedding.
Really?
Yeah.
I can't hate. When I was younger, I've always wanted a Taco Bell themed wedding, and I think that
Oh my
actually
God.
exists at one point.
Yeah, that probably would, and the person who would have it would be Roxy McDaniel.
I also Adam Chase Rennie would have a Taco Bell wedding. Are you kidding me? It's
I
still
don't
still a
understand
dream of mine.
why people are so obsessed with Taco Bell. I do not get it. Being a person who's lived in Texas for that long, I never was like, oh my God, Taco Bell ever.
Yeah, but you can't think of Taco Bell as like a Mexican joint. You know what I mean? Like it's not Mexican food.
Sure.
It's just fast
It's
food.
in itself something else. Yeah.
It's just fast
Yeah,
food.
I don't know.
It's what it is. It's the same thing.
Why do you like Taco Bell so much?
It's a state of mind. Taco Bell is an
State of mind.
attitude. It's a lifestyle, if anything. No, I love it because it's convenient. It's delicious. It's usually my go-to because it's the least wait in terms of drive-through. And when it comes to drive-through etiquette, if it's more than 5 cars in a drive-through, you probably be there for at least a solid 20 minutes. So and your boy don't got that time. So Taco Bell in California, in the Bay Area at least, there were so many locations, so there didn't feel like there was like an overabundance of cars. But my go-to is In-N-Out. I've always loved In-N-Out, but the problem is that In-N-Out drive-through circles around the parking lot 3 fucking times.
I do like
It's the
In-N-Out.
best. Yeah, In-N-Out's the best.
I like that you can do the 4x but protein style. That's what I do.
Really? That's
Yeah.
that's a lot. A double
Have you-
fucks me
Bro,
up.
I can eat. Yeah. That's my
I
favorite.
mean, but like I've had a 4x4 once, and I was out for the next 2 days.
You don't know. Like I used to be able to eat a whole. I probably could. I just pace myself these days. But I used to be able to eat a whole large pizza by myself.
I was about to say, so you can eat? Can you still do that? Can you slam a whole ass pizza?
I probably could.
Yeah,
Yeah, I probably could.
I can
just-
too.
Yeah, I'm just good these days
Yeah,
because I know if I do that, there are things that will be sacrificed later on.
So the thing that I did recently was, I want to say a month ago, I just quit sugar. Like I just quit eating sugar straight
Yeah.
up, dude.
Okay.
The first 2 weeks, I thought I was dying because my brain was in such a fog that
Yeah.
I didn't understand what the fuck was going on until I had a medical friend of mine explain it to
Yeah,
me.
you can get addicted to sugar for reals. Like that becomes your new normal, and so you're literally almost basically getting detox from it. Like you're coming off of an addiction, so you're
Yeah.
having withdrawals essentially.
And for a lot of you who don't understand, when you're on a shoot, when you're dealing with craft services, depending on what the budget is,
Yeah, total sugar.
I am constantly scavenging crafty, like for anything. Even if it's like peanut butter cups, I will fuck it up and I will eat a lot of it. And the problem is that it depends on the shoot, right? So if you have a bigger
Yeah.
shoot, it's probably going to be healthier, better snacks. But like when you're dealing with
No,
micro budget, it's
LA.
yeah,
That's something they do a good job with.
I bet.
Is every set has really good food options. That is
Mhm.
something that I've been like, oh, the big difference between Texas sets and Los Angeles sets is that you got a million different dietary constraints in Los Angeles. There's going to be a vegan, somebody's going to be a pescatarian,
Yeah.
somebody's going to be gluten-free, whatever free stuff. The options are always very healthy for the most part. I haven't been on a set where the options have been bad in LA,
Wow.
which is different because in Texas you have to be like, I'm a vegetarian in order to not get something that's slathered in cheese. So yeah.
But and it's impossible, I would imagine, for vegans outside of California, because there was always vegan options even when I was growing up in the Bay Area. Like it was almost impossible not to find vegan options
Not
in
in
a
the
lot of
South.
places. Yeah, when you're in the South, that's just not a thing. It's just like
I have a funny story.
barbecue
from the
or
very first
salad.
short. Barbecue or salad, pretty much. I know. My first short film, A Bird's Nest, which was shot in Louisiana, one of our producers' moms helped catered, and she had to go ask what a vegan was, basically. It was the plottiest thing. It was the plottiest thing, so cute thing ever. She was like, "Oh, okay. So we're gonna put this that has cheese on it." And
Yeah, yeah.
no, you cannot
No.
put cheese on anything. Really? What?
Sour
was
cream.
utterly
Yeah.
confused.
Yeah.
Yeah, she wanted to put sour cream. She had bacon in the greens and stuff like that. And Adam, the producer, was like, "Mom, you cannot. None of this is vegan at all." And
Doesn't
she's like,
work.
"Well, then I guess you just have to eat salad." And he's like, "Yes."
Yeah. They're just turtles, essentially. Yeah.
He just can't eat salad. But you were right. It is barbecue or salad. That's literally the options in Texas.
I'm not gonna lie, that was definitely a culture shock for me. It was one of the many culture shocks moving here.
Yeah.
But
Tex-Mex or salad.
yeah, exactly. Exactly. But so going back to the sugar thing, like I was very like irritable. Like I was such a fucking asshole the first 2 weeks because
Yeah.
I was in a brain fog. I was having withdrawals, and I was actually like, I guess that's just the old thing of if you had an addiction, you're just replacing it with something else. So I just kept,
Sure.
I had my fridge stock full of diet sodas, like Diet Cokes, Diet Mountain Dews. And I love it. It's great. There's no sugar in it. It's phenomenal. It's honestly,
That count?
yeah, absolutely. It's not even real sugar at all. Or some of them don't even use sugar, period. It's just the caffeine content is high. You got to watch out for that. So you can't be
Yeah.
slamming like 4 Diet Cokes in one day. You're gonna get your shit fucking rocked. But yeah,
So after you got through the hump,
I had a shit ton more energy. And I even had it. I looked at it because I have an Apple Watch and I keep track of my steps and all that. And I realized that I can do double the amount of exercise without sugar than when I was with sugar. So like when I was with sugar, I was still like not working out, but I would go around the neighborhood just walking and stuff. And
yeah.
like a middle-aged woman, I just walk. I sometimes would walk for 1.5 miles, sometimes 2 miles. And then recently, like since 2 weeks ago, I was able to do 3 miles, 3.5, almost 4 miles, pushing 4 miles.
Nice.
Yeah. And I couldn't believe it. I was like, how does that work? I guess it's just because I have a shit ton more energy than I once did. And I'm less irritable. I'm not constantly crashing too. Like usually midday, like I'm just running on fumes. And it doesn't matter how much coffee I drink. If I eat sugar, it's just like an automatic tank.
Yeah,
for
sugar's
me.
terrible for you. Like it's so bad.
It's really
Yeah,
bad.
I
And it's everywhere.
pretty much.
It's even in bread.
Yeah.
Like sugar's in
I
fucking
don't
bread,
eat any of
dog.
stuff. Yeah, it's in. That's why pasta sauces and stuff. I don't eat any of
Yeah.
that stuff. Yeah.
That's crazy. That was also nuts. Like when I was making pasta, I saw sugar contents on just a regular ass marinara sauce, and it was like 7 grams of sugar. I'm like, what?
Yeah. It's to decrease the acidity of the pasta sauce. So that's why they have sugar in it. But the traditional way that they do it without sugar for Italians is they use carrots. And the carrots have a natural sweetness, and that's what balances out the acid in the tomatoes. But from a commercial standpoint, they just throw a bunch of sugar in it.
Yeah. Or it's just easier for manufacturers to make it. Yeah. But dude, sugar is in fucking everything. It is disgusting. It's quite fucking gross, but and it sucks like when you're on a shoot and you're starving and you have practically fucking nothing, which goes back to the vegan stuff where it's like, there's really not many options when sugar is literally everywhere. Like they would have like protein bars, but even then some of those have like sugar in them. And I'm just like, I don't do sugar. I just cannot have sugar in my
The
thing.
one big thing that I've continued to think about now that I've been on so many other sets is like the one mistake that I made was I should have whatever budget I was given, I was told was for catering. I should have just tripled that, and for Ursley, and just triple that, and so that we could have like good catering because that's so important. Yeah, lesson learned.
Yeah,
I didn't
but
think
we've
I know
had
there were that
worse.
many options.
Yeah,
Oh,
we,
yeah.
we certainly have
Definitely.
worse. It wasn't the worst thing in the world. The thing with Ursley though is that I was drinking a shit ton of water. So like I was drinking way more water than I've ever had in Texas in
'Cause
the
it
middle of
was
the
hot.
heat.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I was like sweating like just walking out the door. You know?
Because of the humidity. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it was crazy humid. I know.
Yeah.
I'm reading Blood, Sweat, and Chrome, which is the behind
Oh,
the
the Mad
scenes
Max
notes
shit.
for
Yeah.
yes. And I'm
How
like,
is it?
it's very fascinating. So it's talking about how George Miller literally directs as if he edits, which I'm like, this is no wonder the
That's
actors
literally
were
you.
so mad.
Yeah.
We're so mad. No, I'm pretty good about it. I actually run through the entire blocking first.
Sure. Yeah.
So that
Yeah.
so that the actors know what is the scene. He doesn't have scenes. He literally will be like, I just want 2 seconds of this person staring. All right, great. Moving on. Now I want 2 seconds of this person reaching for. He is literally shooting the edit without any context. And there's no script.
I heard that. It's
So
mostly storyboards, right?
it's
with
all
them?
it's completely storyboards. Yeah. And so I a lot of the commentary from the actors was like they didn't know what the fuck they were shooting the whole time, basically. And I'm like, holy shit. Yeah.
How do you get away with that? How do you just
I know.
how does a studio look at like just a bunch of pictures on a storyboard and just go, you know what? We're going to hand you a bag of money. Go have
Yeah.
fun.
Here's for you.
Yeah, essentially. I don't understand how these people, but okay, like George Miller is an established director. He's been around the industry for decades now at this point. Sure, but you got to have some sort of, I don't know, like a system or some sort of thing, like a pitch deck with a script or something to just go, here you go. Here's the thing. But George just shows, I was like, here's Mad Max money.
Here's
And they're
all
like,
float. Yeah.
okay.
Okay, here's a bag of money. You know what? I cannot wait for the day where we're gonna be on this podcast and I'll be like, yeah, so I showed up with with my storyboards and I got a bag of money.
Yeah. And you know how many newer filmmakers are going to, you know how many new independent filmmakers are going to get mad at that too? They're gonna be like, well, what do you mean you just showed up and they just handed you fucking money? That doesn't work like that. There's no way that works like that. With some directors, it does.
Wait.
Yeah.
Wait for that. I'm gonna manifest this. One day I'll just be like, here's not even a script. Here's just some pictures. Can I have a bag of money, please?
I think that will happen.
That would totally happen.
With how much shit, there's no shade against the filmmakers, but do you know how much fluff content there are in fucking Netflix? It might as well be generated by AI. Like you just scratch your head and wonder, what the fuck? How do these people get funding for this? This is crazy.
So I don't know if I talked about this I don't think I did because this is recent. There's a phenomenon here in LA that I don't think has happened in Austin yet called verticals.
Like
Do you
TikTok
know what that
filming?
is?
Like the format? TikTok format?
Almost. It's like TikTok format, but
Okay.
there are several platforms now, mainly coming from China, and they're generating content like crazy. But it is shot TikTok format, so vertical, and it is following the gaming business model. So divide like a whole feature into 60 chapters type thing. So like to watch the next chapter, you have to pay. Watch the next chapter, you got to pay.
Oh,
some
like
more type
DLC.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's how they are making money, and then they do it through
Really?
a lot of, yeah, and they're basically what's keeping LA alive right now amongst a lot of the crew. A lot of people are working on these things.
How does that? Oh, sorry, go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
So yeah, so that's what it is. They're like not great stories, although I've heard that there's a few that are like decent.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, they're all shot vertically and they're like full on features done in 8 days, basically.
And they just split it up between episodes that people pay for. But how does that work though? Because I see that like short form content in YouTube Shorts, right? Like they use vertical, but
Yeah.
it's all free though.
Yes. They have specific platforms. Like this isn't living on YouTube. This is living on like
Right.
their vertical shorts platform.
And people are willing to
platform.
pay for it?
'Cause I don't know
Really?
where the money's coming from because people are churning these things out. And the reason why I bring it up is because guess who's directing a slasher vertical? Me.
Really? Oh, fuck yeah.
I just think it's gonna be fun. I'm like, I would never direct this, but sure, let's play. Let's see what we can make. Yeah.
So are you in? So have you? Is there anything written? Is there anything? Is
No,
there
I got a
script?
beat sheet.
Okay.
I got a beat sheet, and in the next few days, I'm supposed to get the contract and hopefully the script at some point. But how I understand the script to be is it feels like I obviously the funny thing is I don't watch horrors at all, like any
I love
film
horror.
stuff.
I'm a
Like I
huge
don't
horror
watch
guy.
any of it.
Yeah.
I'm not. So I'm like, this will be interesting. And I'm like trying to decide if I should watch some stuff for context, but I'm such a chicken. Like my problem with horror films is I get hyper stimulated and then it ruins my day. Like I feel terrible basically the rest of the day. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I'm just like humanity sucks the rest of the day.
Right.
And it just it really affects me from an emotional standpoint. And so that's why I don't avoid them. But now I'm like, do I need to watch slasher films now? But so the
Well, I
story
think you probably like
context,
thrillers use the same beats as like a horror, right?
that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do
Yeah.
thrillers instead. Yeah, I do like thrillers. So the story reminds me of a little bit like Squid Games. It's gaming. It's games. But somebody said that the concept reminds them of Hill on Haunting Hill.
Oh, Haunting on Hill
Hill.
House. Yeah.
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 The concept is like some influencer has brought her friends to this house and they're playing a game. And the game, you go to different rooms and you have to solve whatever obstacle course or whatever sadistic game thing. But it's
Solve.
fake, but it's supposed to be fake, but it's not. That's what's fucked up about it. And that was the part that they prepared for. And they can't leave the house. It's locked or something. I don't know. They've barred the house. You can't leave it because until you finish each level. So that's the premise. Yeah. So,
Interesting.
And I think a lot of people die.
Well, and it's I would imagine shooting it is very easy. One location. That's neat.
One location. Yeah. So
Also, how do you shoot that? So do you just format the camera in a way that only shoots vertically?
no, you literally shoot it horizontal. You shoot it vertically.
So you physically
Yeah.
turn the camera and you what? That's hilarious.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So the camera is literally on its side.
You just turn a whole ass
Like-
Sony camera on its side.
Yep. On its side. Yeah.
It's crazy.
Is that crazy? I can't believe.
Until they start making cameras specifically to shoot that.
For Bird, exactly.
I would
But that's-
imagine that would be a lot of money, but yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah. But that's a trend, and I wouldn't be
Wow.
surprised if in a year or two it starts catching up and everywhere else. But like they're huge here right now. I just see people looking for crew for these like all the time, and they're like paid terribly, but like they're at least paid in their jobs, and like they're like the actual jobs right currently that are available. It's like vertical films, or like you were part of a studio series and it just resumed filming. Basically, those are like the only options at the moment. Or
Okay.
you just have a connection. Somebody's doing an indie film, and that's how somebody word of mouth and maybe something indie. But yeah, vertical.
It's just
I
mostly
would direct
vertical.
slasher.
Wow.
Yeah.
And it's just really, there just really isn't much like indie features going on around town.
Not right now that I'm aware of, or I'm just out of the
Yeah.
loop too. Because remember, I don't have.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're a union lady now. Yeah. But that's still cool though. I do think that there could be like, because for some reason I always see TikTok and like Instagram reels and all that as a neat way to advertise your shit. And I feel like that's like the one avenue that is tried and true for getting your film out there, is to just have teasers and trailers like all edited vertically.
Vertically. I need to try doing that for Ursula. I told you that I got the distribution rights for international back.
Yeah, I think you talked about that in an episode.
Yeah, I got to figure out a whole new marketing plan and whatnot. I'm not prepared to go back and do a whole marketing thing. Got to do it for the art.
Yeah, and to reach
Opportunity.
Ursula internationally is fucking insane. That's cool. That would
That's
be
what I'm
rad.
gonna do. That would be rad.
I don't know. Maybe I'm just hating on vertical film because I'm really trying to wrap my head around like the business model of people paying like per episode to watch it, because like how I watch movies is very different, but like I also watch movies like on my big screen, but also on my iPad. It all is varied, but I would imagine like a long form. I guess it wouldn't be long form, right? Because it's all episodic.
It is long.
No, but it's episodic
No,
though.
it's just no, it's just cut up. It's like it's a whole feature, but it's divided into chapters. So it's not episodic
Okay.
because it's just chapters. Like if you take out the chapter marks, it would just be one long feature.
So people are just
The
willing
chapter,
to sit there for 90 minutes with their phone, just watch.
I think the option is I need to go into on these platforms and see.
Yeah, I'm
what-
curious
but
too.
I believe how it works is you either sit and watch the ad
Hmm.
or you pay to not watch the ad. So at each chapter point, there's
Oh, so they
ad.
okay, so they're making money through ads.
So like
Okay, got it.
Spotify.
Yeah,
like Spotify
yeah.
being like, oh, you can listen for free. Like every 30 minutes, there's
It's every 2
30
songs they give you like a 2-minute
Correct.
ad. Yeah.
exactly. Yeah. So it is that or you pay for premium. That's how they're working this angle, which I'm like, it's actually very smart because
It is.
that's how it is with gaming. Have you ever been sucked into those cell phone games where it's like, oh, you're playing, it's like totally smooth, and then if you want to get up a certain level, you have to start paying.
Oh, they're doing that
past
with like
levels?
bigger video games. Like you pay $60 for a video game and they do that shit. So it's, oh, you want to get past like level 100? We'll cough up another $20. It's, bitch, I just paid $60. What do you mean? I'm not going to
Yep.
pay for
Yeah.
that's called DLC. It's downloadable content. So it's like they
Mm.
get you like replaying that game over and over again. Some games are good at it. Some games
Yeah.
are really bad at it. Fortnite was like the biggest one that does that. It's like the game is always free. Anybody can play it. But the problem is that if you want skins, you want season passes and shit, that's going to be like $10, $12 a pop. So that's how they get, and little kids love that shit too. So they rob their parents' credit cards and they just start
Yeah,
spending
they
money
just
on
keep-
shit like that.
Anyway, because they don't know any better. Yeah. They're
No.
like, oh, cool. We just get to the next level. Yeah. So
Man,
no, it's
and that's how they're doing it with
absolutely.
entertainment, like with film and stuff.
movies. Yes, absolutely.
How do you
It's
feel
fascinating.
about
I mean,
that? How do you feel about the media
know-
moving to that?
It's sad, but then also I understand that there's got to be a way to generate revenue. And
Sure.
if people have altered their taste to streaming and they can get everything they want to watch with just a subscription and just watch everything, there's not much revenue from that for the people who are on those platforms and stuff. Content will always go to places where the budgets are. Stories will always go. That's why I'm like actually excited to be a part of this, because who knows? This could be like how TV became king for a little bit,
Yeah.
right? Because all the stories were flooding to TV because it's where the budgets were. Although I recently just talked to someone and I heard that networks are cutting down on buying series now. So
I read an article about that. Yeah.
yeah, now they're looking for independent features again because they're cheaper to do than series or something like that. It's crazy. We can never win. But I
Yeah,
feel
but there's
like
hope,
this could
though.
be something. Yes, there's hope. There's verticals. Just
There's verticals.
But I think that's one of those things is I think at each juncture there's going to be new technology and new ways of telling stories, and I'd rather be a part of it and at least know what I'm dealing with than be like, haha, verticals, whatever, nobody's gonna watch those. And then like what Gen Z is it? That
Yeah.
generation is only watching verticals. You just don't know.
Yeah, but like Gen Z also watches The Office like for 7 hours, like for the 9 billionth time. Like they'll rewatch like Friends, they'll rewatch Real Housewives of Orange County or some shit like that. That's the thing. It's so many Zoomers and so many like Gen Z kids always say, and I have cousins who are Gen Z, and I actually had a conversation about this, and because they're like, movies are boring now. I'm like, what do you mean? What do you mean by that? And they're like, it's just every time I open up Netflix or Hulu, there's just always nothing but boring shit. And it's okay, but what do you watch? Oh, I watch The Office. I watch Parks and Recreation. I watch that. And I'm like, okay, and how many episodes do you watch? They're like 30 minutes per episode. And they're like, oh, I watch about like 4 or 5 hours of it. It's okay. So you do have the attention span to watch these things. It's just what you want to watch. And there isn't enough, I don't know, algorithmic shit to push independent movies towards people with a Netflix subscription. They're going to push the reality shows if you watch, or true crime shit. That's another thing that my cousins love is true crime stuff, which is like documentary style shit, which is fine. That's cool. But it always cracks me up whenever I see people like younger than me who are just like, movies are boring. They're stupid now. Yeah, or you just haven't found something that you like. You know what I mean? It's the same thing for music. It's like, you can't just say that, oh, I don't like music. That doesn't make sense, really. It's like, you do like music. It's just you turn on the radio and listen to the top 40 hits. And that's it. That's your way of listening to music. I don't know. I feel a lot of people want to blame the culture shift on Zoomers, when in reality it's, or it's like the problems are the companies, like the streaming apps, the streamers are the problem, not pushing the better movies, like more classic movies. Dude, The Exorcist is on Netflix. And that's one of the best horror films ever, arguably. I don't think it's the best, but it is arguably one of the quintessential horror film. But people who watch horror, people who like horror, are not getting pushed this shit because they're getting pushed fucking true crime shit. Because it's more fun to watch that. I don't like it because it's too scary. But I love watching horror because that's just make-believe. It doesn't go past the fucking movie screen. Once it goes past the movie screen and it becomes reality, you lose the plot for me. I'm like, this doesn't work. Like remember when Joker came out, the first Joker film?
Yeah.
With Joaquin Phoenix came out.
Yes, so good.
Very good. But the problem was that people were taking the movie a little bit too seriously, like beyond the movie. You know, there's a lot of people, like the incel community, very much felt like that was like an anthem to them because it calls for a dude who's lonely, isolated, and it gets walked all over on by society, and then he stands up and does something about it or whatever. It made a huge impact to the incel community, thinking that they all are Joker and they all can dress up and be this fucking loony or crazy, when there's no reason to take it beyond past the movie screen.
It's a story.
It's just a story.
That's so weird. People are so weird.
People are
you can't you can't predict that. Like
you can't, and that's the problem.
How it's going to resonate with people.
Because they all take it very differently. That doesn't mean it's not a good movie. It's a very good movie, but it's just once you take it beyond the fictional world, because remember, this is Joker. This is based off of a comic book that was Batman comic books have been around. Jesus Christ. The detective series, came out in like the 60s or some shit like that? It's like the 50s or the 60s. So they've been around for almost 70 plus years. People need to understand that it is fiction, but once you take it past that, it doesn't work. It feels weird. And a lot of people do that. A lot of people take this shit really fucking seriously, which I like. That's great. Let's just keep movies the way that they are.
Yeah.
So that's great. I'm happy that vertical filmmaking is,
who knows?
I don't know. Yeah, it's taking off, which is cool because then it opens up a whole new door of make these stories happen. Because there's a lot of TikTokers that are like damn near fucking filmmakers, and these people are really doing a phenomenal job in shooting some of these things. There's this one kid, I think he's from New York, and he made a short film, and it was really good. And I saw it on TikTok. And it had Bobby Lee in it. I don't know if you've heard of him. He's like a comedian, very famous comedian in LA. And he was in this short film. And it was like a more serious short. And I saw it on TikTok. And it was fucking amazing. And it was shot.
Can you send me a link? What's it called?
Yeah, it's called Death and Ramen.
I feel like you can tell a story in any format. I find it's exciting that there's this whole trend to tell stories in this vertical format, because it is true that a lot of people do just only watch things like this these days. Look at our IG live. It's vertical.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's cool. I don't know how that translates to people watching their shit, like watching content that's like at least 90 minutes for a feature.
I
Just
know.
shooting
I don't
it.
know how it's work. I'm fascinated, but I'm just excited that I get to direct something.
Yeah, and I would love to do an episode where we talk about it. Like we break it
Yeah.
all down. I know there's statute of limitations, but I want to know, is it shot differently than as opposed to like cinematically? Like how does the lighting process work? How does the cinematography process work? Like that
I
I'm
don't
very
know.
curious about.
I'm very curious too. So yeah, we'll definitely do one about that, breaking down the whole
And when's that
process.
shoot again?
That's not going to be till late October. So I don't think I get information till around then. I think the prep and stuff starts really heavy there into November, but we'll see what happens. I messaged the producer and was like, "Is this happening? Because I haven't gotten it." He's like, "It's definitely happening." I'm like,
Okay.
I'm so okay.
That's fun though, dude. I'm excited for you. Please keep me and the audience updated. I'm very curious how it'll turn out. We're about there, so you want to take this in for a landing?
Let's do it. Let's do the landing because Josh is sitting in the waiting room right now. So
Oh, good. Ladies and gentlemen, getreelisms.com. You know what it is. Pick up your book, pick it up, pick up your hats, pick up your shirts, get everything you need. Getreelisms.com. Your personal little filmmaking education. Thank you again, guys. Stick around. We're going to start the stream up again. We're going to have a special guest, super secret special guest, a returning guest. And we will talk to y'all in just a couple seconds. So, toodaloo.
Make sure that you guys are subscribing to like the YouTube channels. If you listen to this on Spotify, just know there's a video version of it. And we're pretty much on most platforms as well. Where our main goal for this is to build community within the film industry so that it is more accessible to everybody, so people can see how things are done in either the indie world or the non-union world or the union world. So hopefully you'll be inspired and you'll go and make your own movies.
And you can become like Christina, be a master of both worlds, the indie and the union. That's crazy. Anyways,
yeah.
All right.
I